Hello YouTube, this is Jake here with The Light to bring you another news briefing and some analysis. Now before I get into it, I want to give a shout out to the Southern Sinners. That's who you hear bringing me in and out of this video with the music. And that song is Open Your Eyes, one of my favorite songs by this band. And it's really a song about opening your mind and your consciousness, being more aware of your day-to-day, and not just being a cog in a machine, but really being more courageous and conscious of your day-to-day and living for yourself, living a fulfilling life that makes you happy, not just being a cog in a machine, not just working for money, and not succumbing to the kind of fears and expectations that we perceive around us. So I think music like that's very profound and important, especially in this day and age where there is so much deceit, so many lies, but also so much truth to be uncovered and distributed. And I want to actually talk about something that really opens our eyes in the news right now, as we see yet another crisis with the FDA quality control of pharmaceutical medicine, as it's been reported that there is now a widespread discovery of contamination in blood pressure medicine, in generic blood pressure medicine all across the nation. So what is this? What's in the medicine? It's a chemical called NDMA, which is highly toxic, which can be terrible for your organs, your heart, and which can just flat out kill you at high enough levels of concentration. NDMA should not be found at all in the pharmaceuticals, but it is found in low concentrations regularly. For whatever reason, they're finding toxic levels in blood pressure medicine, generic blood pressure medicine that's widely prescribed by doctors and given to people around the country. And this is very sad, as people are being poisoned by their own medicine. It's just terrible. It's degrading faith in established medicine and in medical treatments. And we see this happening at the same time as this outrage against Purdue Pharmaceuticals, who is one of the leading contributors to the nation's opioid epidemic. One of the leading manufacturers of opioid pills. And the Sackler family, the owner of Purdue Pharmaceuticals, has been blaming victims, has been hiding behind the courts and lawyers, refusing to pay settlements and damages to anybody, even all the while having 200 people a day dying due to the opioid crisis. They refuse to pay out anything to anyone who's been harmed or families who've had people killed by this epidemic. They've really disrespected victims, and now New York courts have been investigating them and found the Sacklers to be laundering and hiding at least $1 billion in their personal net worth in efforts to shield their family worth from this settlement. It's so sad. It's really borderlines on evil, and it just goes to show the disregard for our health by elites that own these companies and profit off of our unhealth rather than making us more healthy. This is so wrong, and I want you to tune into this video here about the dark history behind Bayer, Monsanto, and the biopharmaceutical attack on the everyday man and woman. Now, this crisis just goes to show even more why we need organic and alternative medicines and medical treatment options, and why cannabis can be so important in this day and age where cannabis is being found to actually treat or cure the things that we have been treating with these synthetic pharmaceutical medicines, which are really like putting a Band-Aid on a cracked dam. And Aurora Cannabis is a very important company in pioneering Cannabis 2.0 and these pharmaceutical-grade medical treatments and products for the future of cannabis, beyond the recreational pot marketplace into medical cannabis and cannabis derivative products. And now let's talk about their earnings. All right, let's get into it, people. I've done a lot of work and analysis, and what I'm seeing is actually quite positive. Now, Aurora Cannabis reported roughly $98 million in net revenue with a loss of about $2.26 million. This is not too bad at all. Really, a loss of about 2 cents a share, which is pretty good. But the company had previously offered very dovish guidance of 100 to 108 million in revenue. And since they missed this, we saw about a 10% drop after hours on 9/11. This makes sense, as we don't like seeing a company miss its own guidance. But really, this was explained in the earnings call, and it seems like many analysts were farther off than the company itself, actually. We see FactSet analysts predicting a loss per share of about 6 cents on net revenue of 108 million. We had net revenue 98 million and net loss per share about 2 cents, not 6 cents. So that's about 100% surprise, a positive surprise on the loss per share, even with the lower than expected net revenues. But we also are seeing this improvement year over year, when this time last year, Aurora was losing more like 13 cents a share. So that's good stuff to see. Not a bad quarter, and the company's on their way to profitability in 2020. I've been saying for a long time, it's 2020 that these companies and Aurora will be profitable. I know analysts want to see 2019, but Cannabis 2.0 has been delayed to December with edibles and infused products, and that's when things can really be profitable. Right now, there's a supply glut and a lack of the retail infrastructure, which is why we see this kind of lag in revenue and profitability. But we see a big improvement from last quarter, too, where losses were about 8 cents a share against an expected 3 cents a share loss. So last quarter, they had a very negative surprise on the loss per share. But we also saw quarter over quarter with the improvement in loss per share, a 8% decline in price per gram for consumer grade cannabis. So Aurora is still making improvements even with the decline in their sales price per gram. Excuse me. Now, what are the key metrics? We see revenue up 52% quarter over quarter and 415% year over year. We also see 86% increase in the quarter over quarter capacity expansion for their production. Now, quarter over quarter, it's gone way on up to just about 30,000 kilograms per quarter. Now 120,000 kilos per year, with facilities online that will eventually, by the end of 2020, be producing 500,000 kilograms per year. So the CapEx is ramping way on up. And we also see sales way up, 94% increase in sales, with an increase from 9,100 kilograms to almost 18,000 kilograms sales quarter over quarter. That's 94% increase, and that's still with a lack of retail infrastructure and more infrastructure to come to boost those numbers more. So now, what we hear in the call after earnings, they talked about Aurora's focus on providing access to very high quality, premium grade medical cannabis and cannabis derivative products. They're really focused on the medical market, but now also moving in and having a higher ratio of sales to consumer markets. Excuse me, I've been a little sick here. Now, they also acquired fully all shares of Hempco Food and Fiber in what they say is a pivot toward the U.S. CBD and hemp marketplace. They've also got a deal with the UFC to provide research and to produce groundbreaking treatments and products, doing some testing and research with these high-level athletes who fight in the octagon in the UFC. They've also got their first outdoor crop harvested from Aurora O, and they've onlined 2 new facilities, Aurora Air and Aurora Sky. Now, they've done a lot of reinvestment into R&D and prep for Cannabis 2.0, but gross margins are up 3%, which is a massive key metric. And cost of production per gram fell 20% to 1.14 Canadian dollars, with Aurora Sky, their most advanced facility, falling to around 1 Canadian dollar production cost per gram. That is incredible. And they also have these increased sales while they're having lower prices. Now they've got enough cash to run 2 new facilities. They're going to be moving up to 500,000 kilograms production per year by the end of 2020. And, you know, this quarter might not be impressing a lot of people, but this was the largest revenue reported by any cannabis company ever by Aurora Cannabis this quarter. So that's impressive. And, you know, what else are we seeing? We're seeing data across cannabis markets showing consumers demand high quality product. And Aurora Cannabis talks about this in their earnings call and how they're positioned to deliver vast quantities of premium grade cannabis because people don't just want it to be at a better price. People really care about quality, and people care about the details of this product in cannabis. People are much more picky. I can tell you that from working in the industry right now. Now, what did Aurora do to provide for this good quarter? They dumped the T-God Green Organic Dutchman investment, which was surplus organic supply genetics, because they already have Whistler Medical. So they are outdoing competition, buying the competition, getting the genetics cultivation, and now they don't need them, so they can sell that, and they sold that for $86 million. That also shows the shift from T-God, the Green Organic Dutchman, more old school, toward Cannabis 2.0 in December. They don't need the Green Organic Dutchman, but they need the Cannabis 2.0. And, you know, we see sequential improvements quarter over quarter and year over year to almost all key metrics, including EBITDA, which shows profitability. So it was a mistake by the company to give out bullish guidance earlier, but we're seeing that analysts were off, and they were surprised by the decrease in loss per share. So I say that this miss is really not a reflection of anything negative on Aurora, but the analysts have missed expectations. And really, the key takeaway, in my opinion, is that the revenues are climbing sharply, margins are still improving 3%, all the while cost of production is dropping, and the net loss per share is as well. So I'm issuing a buy alert. Aurora Cannabis, next stop, $8. I think it's going to be a huge new year coming up for Aurora Cannabis and Cannabis 2.0, and I am so excited to see how this industry does coming into its own right now. Now, everybody, I hope that you appreciated this video. Thanks for tuning in. I hope that this analysis made sense. If you got any questions, comments, or feedback, leave it for me down below. Also, please like and subscribe to the video. I need you guys to do that. It means a lot for me, and that's how you can support this channel in the best way. Now, folks, until the next video, much love. I can't wait to talk to you again, and I will see you next time. Peace out.
Well,